Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now, I know it's been a little while, a few months since I last posted, but hopefully I will be able to produce relatively consistent content for the next few months because that's just something that's been in my backlog despite having a very hectic and busy schedule. And as you notice, my hair has gotten quite long, mostly just being pretty lazy about it and just staying at home, socially distancing, and haven't really gotten a chance to go to the barber. And at this point, I don't know if I should. Arizona cases are sort of iffy right now, so I guess we'll see what happens in the next few months. But nonetheless, right now, the campus, so my university campus has reopened, and they are just starting their fall semester today, actually. So students have been moving in this past week or so, and I've started to see more and more people pop into campus. Luckily, most people are wearing masks, so everyone's just trying to stay safe and stay healthy. So for those of you who are working from home or are still attending school, please just stay safe, do all the bare minimums that you can in order to protect yourself and for other people. Now, something else I also realized is that I have now finished 5 years of grad school, which means I have now finished an equal amount of time between undergrad and also grad school. I figured since today is going to be the start of what hopefully will be my last year of graduate school, I wanted to talk about some of my experiences between undergrad and grad, and also give a verdict as to what I liked better. And as I go through this, I'll just comment on a few things related to what the differences between the different degree programs are, and also kind of what life differences are most apparent or stick out. But before I begin, remember to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel for additional material science and graduate school content. All right, so let's get started. So for undergrad, as you guys already know, I went to the University of Arizona, which was only a few hours away from my house, 2 hours exactly. Getting into college in general wasn't particularly difficult since I did well in high school, had a lot of good extracurriculars, good grades, good test scores, and managed to get into U of A and just sort of dive straight into that college experience. You move to a new city and new environment, so it's just a lot of new things happening at the same time. So it's just really a great time in a young person's life to really just explore who they are and also what hopefully they're capable of doing. Now, college usually lasts anywhere between 3 and 5 years, around 4.5 on average. I took 5 years at U of A, which is not completely unheard of for engineering students. And for undergraduate programs, you generally go through a series of classes, a lot of foundational coursework within the first couple years, and usually driving more into your specialty for your major in the last year or two. Most of the time, it's following kind of a progression or a list of classes that you have to sort of check off before you are an awarded bachelor's degree in whatever field that you would study. A lot of times there are general emphasis on gen eds, on worldly education or humanities as part of your bachelor's degree, just to give you some more exposure to different aspects of the world. And I remember that when I took some of these gen ed classes, I thought, okay, they're easy A's and they're not like the most useful thing ever. But I also later realized that these are actually kind of fun classes. I got to take ancient Roman history. I got to take Slavic folklore, which focused on vampires and werewolves. And I also took classes that just kind of expanded my worldview in general. College was, in a way, very well packaged in that you take a bunch of classes and a few classes in your specialty, and then later you earn a degree after a few years. Now, as for the school life, as an 18-year-old going to a new city, a new environment, I thought it was just really awesome to just kind of feel like an adult. And most people going to college and starting college are generally from the same age group. So those who are directly out of high school, 18, 19-year-olds, and a lot of times you have similar life experiences. So it's just really easy to meet people in college, in classes, in your dorms, and just bonding over similar experiences and then making a lot of good friends out of it. And a lot of times you're doing certain things that you would probably consider chores for the first time in your life. So doing laundry, doing some housework if you live in the house, or cooking, or just earning money if you are working part-time on campus or trying to support yourself and pay rent. These experiences were all things that I had to do. I lived in a dorm for the first couple years. I made a lot of friends in the dorm and also through my classes. And I got to also do laundry for the first time in my life. Like, I'd never used a washing machine. I never really learned how to cook. I sort of taught myself how to cook. Once I started working part-time as a student worker, I started to learn how to better be frugal with spending and just kind of keeping track of my finances and building credit and things like that. So overall, like, being in undergrad, it was just a really transformative experience because I got to learn a lot of aspects on being an adult, but also just developing a lot of my other social aspects through classes, through school clubs, and also developing my knowledge, because now you sort of get the skills that you need to get that first job right out of college. I just had a wonderful undergraduate experience, and I'm really glad I got to go to the U of A. Now, let's shift gears and talk about what grad school is like. So getting into grad school, which I will make a separate video on application processes and just general tips on how you should approach your application, is also in a way as straightforward as getting into college. So you have to do tests, generally the GRE. You have to submit sometimes a resume, and you also ideally have some sort of work or research experience in case you want to do a degree that emphasizes research. Graduate school duration is actually quite an interesting period, because you can depending on what type of degree you get, either a master's or a PhD, you can go anywhere between 1 to 6 years to finish your degree. Sometimes 7 in some doctoral programs, but I feel like those are generally more for the humanities and they have to do a lot more work or a lot more studies, but I don't know anything about that. Now, the nice thing about grad school is that you generally have more freedom in your classes. So unlike undergrad, where you're sort of required to take a certain list of classes and then do like a capstone or something to graduate, you take whatever classes that kind of fit your specialty or fit your major, and you just pick them. There's generally nothing that's really required. And sometimes classes are kind of hybrid, graduate and undergraduate, and usually the graduate courses have a little bit more work. Oftentimes it could be just as simple or as basic as an introductory undergraduate class. And of course, the grading can be a little bit more lax, because a lot of times you need a B average in grad school, and sometimes professors grade on a curve, so to make sure a lot of the students have A's and B's and hopefully not too many C's. Now, one of the main differences in the schooling, aside from the more flexibility in your classes, is that you may also end up working as a teacher assistant or TA or a research assistant or RA. And in these cases, it kind of makes graduate school feel a little bit more like work. So you're still taking classes, you're still aiming to get a degree, but it also kind of feels like something that you would do in, like, say, a 9-to-5 job, and you feel a little bit more responsible on that end. And unlike for undergrad, where summers can be reserved for like maybe vacations or taking summer classes or maybe doing an internship, usually for the summers in grad school, I guess also depending on what type of degree you get, you may actually spend your summers taking classes or doing research or working in order to further your degree. So when people ask why I have to work during the summer, even though ASU is technically out for the summer, it's because I'm employed by the school and I work as a research assistant, so we don't get any breaks. But that, again, affords us a lot of flexibility. So unlike a 9-to-5 job, we can sort of talk with our advisors and figure out what a best schedule for us is, so that if we want to take those breaks, we can. Now, as for school life, in grad school, it's a little bit different than in undergrad in some key regards. Now, if you decide to go to a new school, you may end up going to a new city, maybe a new environment, and then, of course, you're experiencing new stuff all over again. However, in grad school, you tend to meet people from different stages in life, so you might not get a cohort that has the same life experiences or come from the same age groups. So you might meet people that are right out of college or those who have been working a few years and decide to go back. And again, it does feel a little bit more adult-like and like a job, so oftentimes people do take grad school a little bit more seriously because they're choosing to go back to school and further their career. And in my opinion, I feel like it's a little bit harder to make friends in grad school because in a lot of respects, you don't get to meet as many people or have opportunities to meet people either through classes, or if you work in a lab, you end up kind of being a little bit more in your own little bubble, so it's harder to just meet people in general. And because people are busier, it's also hard to make time to go like join clubs or do any student organizations and meet additional people that way. And because you may be working during graduate school or research might go into the odd hours of the night, your social life might also shift a little bit because you don't exactly know how your schedules are going to be from week to week, or you don't know what experiments you have to do, so you might have to be really flexible. And of course, this is something you have to want to do in order to advance your career, and you have to know what types of sacrifices you might have to make, either financial or social, or even personal sacrifices in order to get this degree. In general, I've also accomplished a lot of things during graduate school. I still managed to remain a volunteer for the Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers, so it gave me opportunities to go and meet new people. I also admittedly didn't get a chance to make too many graduate school friends because most people I interact with were either through classes or through my own lab groups. So I didn't have a whole lot of access to different people, but I also didn't have a lot of time to go and just meet a lot of people and hang out with them and also focus on my work. So I think overall my graduate experience was also really cool because once I finished undergrad, I came out feeling like an adult and then just kind of pushing myself a little bit further in that end, and also trying new things. This was also a period of my life where I started dating more, I started just traveling more and just doing a lot more things that made me feel a lot more independent. So it just gave me opportunities to just grow in so many different areas. All right, so what is the verdict? Do I like my undergrad experience or my grad experience a lot better? Well, actually, just thinking through a lot of my experiences, like it's really hard to just pick one because I grew a lot in undergrad. I got to meet a lot of great people and still friends with a lot of people that I met even freshman year of college. But at the same time, I felt like I also got to try so many new things and grew a lot more in grad school. So in general, I think in terms of kind of school structure and also for social life, I think I prefer graduate school a lot better. And of course, you guys will have your own opinions about this. You guys might have partied a lot or had a lot of really cool experiences in undergrad. Or maybe you went to a city that you've never been to for a grad program, and you guys got to make really cool friends and just do a lot of cool research or got to travel a lot. And it just was a wonderful experience for you. Just going through college in general in any form is certainly a transformative experience, despite how expensive it can be. And that's not to say that you can't learn from the internet or other free resources, but I think that college is something that you should certainly try to invest some time in because the social capital and the experiences you get certainly can't be replicated anywhere else. And if you want to know more about either experience, feel free to email me or send me a message on any of my social media platforms and I'll try to get back to you. And again, thanks for watching. I know I sort of blasted through a lot of different information and really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and hopefully subscribe, and also to help support my channel as well. because I want to grow this channel into something a little bit more, especially after I finish graduate school. So again, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you tune in for the next one. So stay safe out there, wear a mask, socially distance, and remember to keep calm and exit time.